Hey everybody, I just finished another book in the original Goosebumps series. This is a reread of the original 62 that I'm doing. This is How I Learned to Fly. Um, so as a kid, I'll tell you guys a quick story. I actually got this book from a friend of mine, and it was like at the book fair, and it actually came with this and Chicken Chicken, and they're both in like this saran wrap kind of thing. And I remember getting these, and this is way before the internet, where you couldn't really look and see like what books were next. You could see the titles, but you couldn't see the covers or anything. And I remember getting this and Chicken Chicken. It's like two of the worst covers. I mean, this has these evil birds in it, looking things. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't look interesting at all. And I remember, I think my friend asked me, he's like, hey, have you read How I Learned to Fly yet? Have you read it? You should try it. You should read it. And I don't think he read it. I think it was just kind of, it was a present to me, so I should try to read it. And I remember I finally read it. I remember I stayed home sick from school and I read it and I didn't love it. Um, Years later, I learned that this book is actually liked by a good amount of people, I believe. So I was excited to kind of jump back into it. I figured it'd be perfect for Valentine's Day because this is kind of the sweetest Goosebumps book out there. And yeah, so I started reading it. I think it took me about a week or so to finish. And I'll be honest with you guys, I still feel almost the same way as I did as a kid. And what I mean by that is I didn't really love it. I just kind of thought it was okay. And I really wanted to love it because I did like this thing a couple years ago on Instagram where I did like nostalgic reviews. And this is before I actually started rereading all of them. This is based like off of pure memory. And sometimes I did cheat and use the Goosebumps wiki. But yeah, this is a fresh take on it. And yeah, I didn't love it. I mean, I didn't hate it either. But yeah. The story itself follows this guy named Jack Johnson. He is always in competition with this guy named Wilson. And Jack Johnson doesn't really like to compete, but Wilson does. Um, the only time Jack Johnson really cares to compete is with this girl named Mia. And I say Jack Johnson doesn't like to compete, but he kind of does because all of this is started by him in a way. I mean, Wilson instigates it a little bit too, but basically, if Jack Johnson blows a bubble, Wilson can blow one bigger. If Jack Johnson draws a picture for this girl named Mia, then Wilson draws a picture with like more details added to it or something. And things like that. It's very competitive, and that's mostly what this book is. Um, he gets invited to this birthday party at Mia's house, and he's excited because he got Mia the CD of her favorite band, and he goes to bring it to her, at the birthday party. She unwraps it and she loves it, she really likes it. Well, Jack Johnson or Wilson has um a present, and it's like tickets to the band of that CD, which is ridiculous. So yeah, Jack flips out, leaves. He goes to this beach house. He like runs away through Malibu. That's where the story takes place, and he finds this old beach house he sneaks into, and he crashes through the basement. He ends up finding this book, and it says flying lessons. It's got these old pictures of these people flying like humans and stuff. And yeah, at first he's a little in disbelief. He ends up sneaking the book home by accident by trying to escape. He gets home, and he actually does some of the stuff that's in the book because he says, if I could fly, then I could definitely beat Wilson at something. So he goes home, and he does these weird exercises. He recites these weird words. He makes this like yeast dough thing, and he adds this powder that is inside this book, like it's in a little envelope. And he doesn't eat it at first. He gets distracted. His dog eats it, and his dog starts floating in the air, and he has to go catch him. So he learns, he flies, catches his dog, and yeah, that's essentially what happens. He learns to fly. And that's really, after this is kind of spoilers, so I really don't want to let anybody know anything. There's a scene that always caught me off guard. I remember reading back in the day, Blogger Beware was a Goosebumps blog, and he worded this best with a WTF, and yeah, it was really cool. There's certain scene in there anyway. Some things I didn't remember were like Mia having the whole heart collection or necklaces and stuff. I didn't remember that at all, and also didn't remember Jack's dad being like this talent agent thing. And yeah, that all comes into effect later on. Yeah, and this story here isn't scary at all. I think the scariest thing that happens is when he falls in the beach house and he gets trapped like under the basement. That's actually pretty scary to me because I didn't picture the stairs. I just pictured it being just a hollowed out, hole, which is terrifying to me. But yeah, other than that, it was not scary. Um, and like I said, I really wanted to like it, but I didn't love it. The ending I did love. The ending is great. It's very sweet. Um, very good. Other than that, the rest of the story is just kind of okay. There's some scenes in here that are very repetitive where Jack wants to go flying, but it's raining outside, so he can't go. This happens like on like two chapters, I think. And yeah, it just felt like I was just kind of filling the pages in, nothing crazy. Also, I do remember reading this as a kid, and I could have swore there was a government agent that like said that he was going to take part of his brain out and put it to study it or something to see why he flies. That might be in another book because I know Stein's used that trope before, but I could have swore it was in this one. It wasn't, or at least I missed it if it was. But yeah, How I Learned to Fly wasn't my favorite Goosebumps book so far. It is better than some of the other 3 stars, I would say, but it's definitely not the worst book I've read so far out of the original series, based on rereading, I wouldn't think. But yeah, um, I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was okay. It wasn't bad. It was just, but I can honestly say, if you guys read this book and you said you give it a 5 stars, I can understand why, because it's a certain taste of this book that's really good. Um, I tried to suspend my disbelief, like or suspend my imagination or something, like where this book wasn't in the Goosebumps series, would I have liked it? I feel like I wouldn't have. Maybe if this was like the start of something else, like a superhero book series or something, maybe. But yeah, other than that, yeah. 3 out of 5 stars for me, guys, for How I Learned to Fly. Please let me know in the comments below, what did you think about this book? Is it one of your favorites? Um, I think that's it for me, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.